Forgot to hit go live here. Jeez. Go live, Instagram. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
It's right now on Instagram.
It is? Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Okay. What can I say except you're welcome? Okay, we're back, everybody. Here we go. Sorry about that. My apologies. Phone on do not disturb, and we're rocking. Here we go. Listener questions. You have a good question, drop it in the comments, and you will be a part of the show. Here we go. 2577. Welcome to episode 2577 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week here, 8 days prior to Halloween. Spooky times are coming. Spookier times if you have the Halloween candy sitting around the house. Got to look out for those mini fun-sized candy bars. Nothing fun about eating 28 of those and seeing the wrappers. They're like, hey, how did those disappear? But we're going to talk about that on Friday. But today, listener questions. We love taking your questions and talking about our favorite places. Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line. Let's do it. Today to answer those questions, we have the crew. We've been hanging out since 2008. We're not old, we're vintage. Starting out with Rikki. She's from themouseforless.com and a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. We've been around so long. That site was new and it died and it came back like a zombie. It's back. Rikki, happy Wednesday. What's up? I tried to tie it all in.
You did try to tie it in. I don't know if I love the word it died, but other than that, we're good. It has been resurrected. Let's put it that way. Yes. There you go. Yeah. So no, yeah, but it did come back around. So that's it. And Disney's definitely been keeping us busy on the site. So, and by us, I mean me. It's a crew of one, but that's okay. So maybe someday it'll be a crew of many. Who knows? But yeah, it's definitely it's been a busy week. Lots of things being announced and lots of excitement in the Disney community for sure over the last week. So that's good.
This podcast is always a crew of millions. I just found out that I put the wrong show title in, blowing people's emails up and everything. This is what we do here on the Be Our Guest podcast. I had to reset things on the fly. Like, what are we doing? It's crazy. And we're back and things are semi back to normal as we get. And speaking of that,
yes.
She's as normal as they come. She brings the sanity to this podcast each and every week. Well, the week she's here, when she's not here, it's like letting the kids out in the hall. We have Pam Forrester. She's co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, just hanging. She had to leave us because, somebody had to do it, hanging out with John Stamos last week.
I know, right? Whatever.
And the Muppets. We got to see the Muppets.
That's cool.
I know, right? Yeah, it was a good time. But also Damon John from the Shark Tanks. He imparted some bits of wisdom there as well.
I don't know how even that show works. I know they buy or deny or whatever ideas.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they invest their own money.
You have a podcast for sale for like a lot.
Right, I know. Yeah. I have an idea. They'll be like, how much money did you make last year?
None. Yeah. I've sunk a lot of money into this. We're negative. But I mean, hey, if you want to buy it, we're for sale for the right amount of money. Let's go.
So funny. But yes, good time. We were doing some travel agency owners learning conference and it's always a good time. So and I'm back and ready to answer some questions. Maybe I have some newfound knowledge. Who knows?
Don on YouTube says I would ask very unpleasant financial questions. There's no finances to podcasting. You just pay this large bill to the service every month and just continue to say it's a very fun hobby and try try to do the best. I get a kick out of it. Okay, so real quick though, we have this thing on Sunday nights on our live call-in show. And that's seriously, we have a blast on Sunday nights. If you don't join us, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central, be there. You call in. We have a fun time. But before you're allowed to address any Disney topic, you have to get through the password. And we have a different password question every week. Last week's question was your favorite Halloween candy and why. So I'm going to throw that out there. 30 seconds to you guys. Rikki, what's your favorite Halloween candy and why? And then you get to participate in the show.
Oh, hands down, Reese's peanut butter cups. Well, actually, I prefer the pumpkins, or the Christmas trees, or the eggs, or whatever have you. But I mean, Reese's all the way. I mean, hands down. Now, as a second option, if there is a Hershey's cookies and cream, I might choose that instead. It just kind of, because those are a little more rare. So if I find one, I usually grab that. But if it's just, a regular stop, oh yeah, Reese's for sure.
It was the overwhelming choice on
Yes.
the live show Sunday night, and you'll hear it again on the stream tomorrow. So check that out. Pam Forrester, where are you going? Favorite Halloween candy?
So I like the Reese's shapes. I do not like
Yes.
Reese's peanut butter cups like the regular ones. I actually just don't like them and don't eat them. The only ones I like are the shapes because I feel like the ratio is so wrong on the original ones. And as a backup, I would do an Almond Joy.
Oh, that's a good, interesting choice. I like that.
I know.
So
and actually, when Hannah was little, little kids don't like Almond Joy. So I was like, score.
That's awesome. Yeah, my grandma would have me make like bags of candy as a kid. She'd have me put a couple pieces of candy in like one of those little bags, and nobody knew what they got but I always put the gross candies or what I associated with gross candies, like the Almond Joys, in the same like bag because I was like, ew. This is
I think that's so old person and so Midwest to like make little variety packs and like save them, hand them out like little packages. Like you get 5 more pieces in the cute little bags. I missed that, by the way.
I know.
That's awesome that your grandma did that. But
yeah, no, well, I'm the one who did it. She just bought all the candy and the supplies, and I'm the one who did it. I'm the one who made the bags.
So yeah, Almond Joys have nuts and Mounds don't. We had that conversation last night on our walk with my wife, and Scott had that conversation. Scott and I had this conversation that when you're going around with your kids, like, and you probably did, Hannah's the same age as like Paige, and like we still kind of happened with Mallory. Like you would go around and like because we had a big neighborhood. We just had a neighborhood. Like I dragged her through all the houses, right? Because I wanted all the candy. Like it's one night a year, so we'd come home with like a pillowcase full of candy. I mean, just tons, and you just like throw it out under the living room floor. And you get like 75-80% of like the good stuff. Like you said, like and by the way, the Reese's and the gold wrappers, little mini Reese's taste so much better than anything. Like they're just the right ratio to me. But you get all the like good stuff, like the Twizzler minis, the Reese's, the M&M bags, the peanut M&Ms, all the quality stuff. But then you get like random because Scott's favorite thing is the 100 grand bars. So
that is random.
Like Almond Joys. Those are rare in 2024. So you would get like these rare things, like a whatchamacallit or something.
Like whatchamacallit, yes.
Oh, those were the jam in the 80s.
They were so good.
I'm saying, Pam and I were talking about that last night too. But you get back to your house, right? And then you're like, you don't know who gave you what. So you're like, where did this Almond Joy or this whatchamacallit or this 100 gram bar come? Because it's like there's 200 pieces of candy here, but like 7 solid rocking random pieces. But you don't know like where to go back to.
Right.
Knock that into my back. Like, who was the all-star in our neighborhood? Like they should have a claim to fame. It's one of those things. Like you should have a sign in your yard, like, yes.
We give the oddball candy. Yeah, exactly.
And every year it happens, but you never know where it comes from.
So usually what we do, and granted, we won't be doing that this year because we're going to go out with Lucy. But usually what we do is I won't buy candy. I will go and buy Little Debbie snack cakes because I feel like it's a better choice. It's solid. It's like, it's bigger than a little fun size candy bar. Huh?
Don't think too hard.
No,
it's not for Halloween. No.
I buy the Halloween ones. So like it's not like a regular Little Debbie snack cake. It's a Halloween Little Debbie snack cake. Like it's the pumpkins. I have right here I eat pumpkin Swiss roll thing.
I'm with you. I eat little. My middle name should be Little Debbie. I eat almost every night.
Kids love them because they're different. Yeah, they do. They're like, oh my gosh, you've got Little Debbie's. Yeah, it's so crazy how much they appreciate that fact. So I am all here. So if you're ever thinking about doing something different, go by the Halloween Little Debbie's, and I promise you'll do well at Halloween. So
Okay. All right. By the way, our password for this Sunday night show is the craziest thing you've ever gotten for Halloween as you went around trick or treating as a kid, or the craziest thing you've given out as an adult at your house to trick or treaters. So
clearly
be ready for
that
as
would
you
be the
call in.
answer. Yeah.
Next week you can give that.
Sorry.
All right, we got to get to the questions. That's why people here, they're like, dude,
Yes.
this is sponsored by Little Debbie. You're supposed to be sponsored by Smuckers.
Oh, that's right. We are.
I know we're trying. We're working with them. Megan's got a question. She says, hey, Mike, with the announcement of Big Thunder Mountain closing early in January, I'm debating on moving our trip to be there over the time of the closing. I think maybe it's to miss the closing. I don't know. How crowded do you feel it'll be during the marathon? We're a Disney family and go anytime we can, so we're used to being crowded, but just want to be prepared. Do most runners show up in the afternoons at Magic Kingdom and Epcot? Thanks in advance, Megan. So, okay, just so you know, over marathon weekend, and it will be closed over marathon weekend. I was surprised they didn't keep that sucker open until after the runners leave. But good for me, because
they have stuff to do.
They do have stuff to do.
I know, because my wife's like, so they're adding a whole like section onto our football field at Mizzou, right? They got this huge donation, like $250 million. So they're adding the second, like on the north end zone, and they closed off like this entrance where we go in for our seats. It's like, why didn't they wait till the end of the season? I'm like, this thing's gonna be going on for 3 years. Like, it's gonna be gone. Like, it's gonna be destroyed next year and half of the next season after that. They don't care. Like, she's like, well, they could have waited. I'm like, they're not waiting. It's the same thing, right? They're just they don't care about the runners. Like, they will get this thing done. But it must be, I would imagine it's a year long. I mean, this is going to be something more than
at least
a job and a spit job, I'm guessing. I mean, I'm excited for that, but I mean, also to me, at my age, like, dude, I'm in the age where like roller coasters and marathons, dude, that's a bad combo. God bless you, Run Disney or Disney, for closing this thing over. Don't take it out of play. You know, like, can we get a Space Mountain closure? I mean, because it just saves me, because I will get on it and I will regret it instantly. As soon as we make that corner and I take my picture, like, and I lean into the picture and I'm like, with my medal, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Now I'm going up the hill. I'm in. I'm in for a dime. I'm in for a dollar, and I'm in for pain is what I'm in for. But anyway, what would you do as far as, we've all seen the crowds at Marathon? Is Big Thunder Mountain closing enough to move a trip for? Does it move the needle enough in crowds for Marathon? I mean, Marathon weekend crowds, because the runners do come in they make their in the weekend, kind of like, because the races get longer and longer, so they come in a little bit later and later, but most of the runners are in by like 10 in the morning, but they're out of the parks by like 7 in the evening every day.
Yeah.
6 in the evening probably.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, as far as this closure, would you move a trip for that?
I mean, in order to be able to experience it before it goes down, or what's the mentality behind it? Because it closes on the 6th, right? And when is Marathon weekend?
Marathon weekend is the second weekend of January,
so it would be closed already.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
I mean,
I deleted the email. So I mean, okay, let's just say though, is Big Thunder something that's enough to move the needle to change a trip? I would say not. There's enough.
If you really like Big Thunder, though, I mean, you got
Tron, you got Space, you got Seven Dwarves. I mean, they got roller coasters. To me,
you do, but for some people, like, think about it, like their Big Thunder is like,
that's true.
Big Thunder's your thing.
I mean, it'll be down, and we don't know how long officially it'll be down. Right now, it was only at least a year. We don't know if it will be longer than that either. It'll all depend on how the construction goes for that Cars section, and of course the Villains section too. So it's going to depend on how and I know Disney wants to get moving on it and get it going and get it open. But it's going to depend on what needs to happen with the construction of, filling in Rivers of America and, Tom Sawyer Island and everything like that too, because it's all connected. So, I mean, if they wanted to move their trip up so that they made sure they got to experience it, then it's that important, then move your trip up so you get to experience it. I mean, I don't know if I would do that, but I missed Splash Mountain, and I didn't get to ride that before it ended. But that was other reasons. So, but I also don't know if I would have made a special trip to do Splash Mountain either. So, but I know a lot of people who did. So, but if it's something that's really important, move your trip up. Yeah.
I wouldn't move it back, knowing you're going to miss it, to try to miss the marathon crowds, because that Martin Luther King weekend is way
way
busier than the marathon weekend, and that they don't leave early. Like, that's just families, and that's going to be way busier. So I would definitely go for marathon weekend versus Martin Luther King weekend.
For sure.
Personally. All right, next question. Now this one's got a little bit to it, so be ready here. It says, "Hey, Mike and BOGP crew. My husband and I are avid Disney goers, traveling down to Walt Disney World a few times every year. This upcoming December, we're taking my mom, brother, sister-in-law, and niece for their first trip. And at Christmas time, nonetheless, break out the tissues. I have 2 logistical questions for you. Number 1, my husband and I plan to upgrade our package tickets to an annual pass during our trip to cover some race weekends I'm doing in 2025. Originally, we planned on upgrading as soon as we get there to take advantage of AP discounts, but then I realized that pass holders need to make park reservations, and I'm concerned that that'll impact our plans, concerning I have every day planned to a T. Is it better to wait to upgrade to the end, or upgrade and assume there won't be any restrictions for reservations? They're there from December 1st through December 8th. So that's kind of an interesting thing, because if you don't know, date-based tickets do not require theme park reservations right now, but annual pass holders do need to make theme park reservations still. Scott was just discussing this over in the clubhouse. Pam, how would you go about this? What suggestion would you have on this?
So I think that in order to make sure that your park days don't get fooled around with, I would leave it as is and upgrade probably on my last day. The good news is, because if you're staying on site and you have an annual pass, you can actually make park reservations for your entire time that you're staying on site. But if you're not staying on site, then you're limited to, what is it, 3, 4 per day? That's still correct, right?
I believe so. Something like that. Yeah.
So, that's something that can impact that. So you might want to look at like availability partway through if you're thinking about wanting to upgrade. But once you're on site, the AP discounts aren't huge. You can look at them on the annual pass holder site. There's really just a few dining things and whatnot, and that it would even depend on if you're even going to any of those restaurants during the time when it is available. So
true, and
that's something to think of.
A lot of times with dining, depending on the restaurant, if you do have something like the Disney Visa card, a lot of times those will be the same discount as an annual pass discount too. So you could still potentially use a discount if you had the Disney Visa without getting an annual pass first.
The thing is, when you're traveling with people who don't have an annual pass and you want to buy packages and you want to buy a package and you want to have tickets and you want to take advantage of some of those great discounts that come with a ticket and package, a package that includes tickets, this is absolutely the way to do this, is to go ahead and book a package, get everyone the same ticket because you have to in a package, and then you can take advantage of some of those discounts that are only available to packages that include tickets.
And the way that works is on the back end, you'll get the value of the Magic Your Way ticket towards the annual pass. You'll pay the difference of the annual pass, and the annual pass expiration date will be the day that the Magic Your Way ticket started.
Yep.
So that's kind of how that all works.
That's exactly it.
All right, number 2. Here's the second part of our 2-part question. We have a 7-day park ticket without the park hopper, and we added in the Christmas party. After configuring in rest, we have 1 extra park day unused, so we're going to use 2 tickets in 1 day on our last day. You can't do that. That won't work. I know we are spending the second half of the day in Epcot, but the first half I'm allowing my niece to pick her favorite park. How do we go about buying Lightning Lane multi-pass in this scenario? I know my second park, but not my first. Any suggestions?
Thanks so much. They do have a park hopper.
No, they don't have a park hopper.
Oh, they don't have a park hopper. Then no, you can't.
They have a 7-day base.
No. So if you want to visit more than 1 park in 1 day, you have to buy a park hopper. You can't use two tickets on or two entrances on the same day, the system will not allow you to do that. So
We haven't had this question in years.
I know.
Years actually come up. Yeah, because what Disney figured out, I mean, I like what you're thinking here, and your thinking is logical, because when you go from a 6-day ticket to a 7-day ticket, it is not that much more expensive. And so you're right to the thinking is sensible, but Disney is also thinking that this is a loophole, because what you're trying to do is avoid the park hopper, because the park hopper is more expensive. So unfortunately, like Pam said, you can't use this to get into two park. The park hopper is exactly that. It's to visit more than one park in a day. And so what will happen is you go to the second park without a park hopper, it will show invalid media to get into the park. So,
And it does. So like when you're in the purchasing part of looking at your ticket, it does really say on there, a base ticket only allows you admission into one park per day. If you would like to visit more than one park per day, then you'll choose the park hopper. It's actually, they actually don't even call it a base ticket. They call it one park per day, or a park hopper ticket. So it's in the name. They're really super clear on it, and therefore very super strict on that as well. So look into the park hopper. I mean, I will tell you, all of us enjoy the park hopper and probably could not do it without the park hopper, because we hop multiple times per day. It really allows you a sort of level of freedom, not just psychologically, but actually in that space. And it actually allows you to use more of the ticket. For instance, say that one ticket, especially in the day, your Animal Kingdom day, sometimes Animal Kingdom closes much earlier than the other parks. It allows you to go visit a park in the morning and then go to one of the parks that stays open later in the afternoon. And that's a huge bonus and can actually sort of give you more value out of that park hopping part. But anyways, to use the lightning lane question, so your first 3 lightning lanes, you are going to make in the park that you will start the day. And then after that, if you have a park hopper ticket, the system will allow you to make lightning lane at other parks. The other thing to note is that after you use your first lightning lane, you're then able to make another one as well in a different park. So
one other thing on that, as I'm thinking about it, you could, I mean, obviously just go to the one park, take a break, go back to that same park, and kind of make it like a hopping situation. If you just wanted to do the one day, just take a midday break and come back and just do like half the park in the morning. Like if you do an Epcot, you could do, the front of the park and then World Showcase, World Discovery, World Celebration, stuff like that. Still Future World. I'm old. Future
World and World Showcase.
Exactly. Let's say that. Amen.
Yes.
But you could do that kind of a situation to kind of simulate a park hop because if you only want to do it one day, but also for the 2 people that are getting annual passes, if you add, adding the park hopper, that is just money that's going to go towards, you're building it into, it's just you're going to pay that anyway on the back end. Yeah. So, because you're going to have to pay that anyway. So that's something there. She also continues, thanks so much for all you do. I've been a big fan of the podcast for the last few years, and now it always brings a smile to my face. Much love. Morgan is in New Jersey. And I love that she's taking first timers and she's really kind of thinking about them and making her niece get to pick her favorite park and going at the holidays. And there's so much more to experience in the attractions at the holidays. You get to hear the background loops. You get to see all the beautiful decorations. You walk through a resort and you get to have the smells of all those treats. And, it's just, there's just a joy of Walt Disney World at the holidays that for a first timer, I mean, it's like, I've said this so many times, it's almost in certain places like walking through a Christmas card from days past, and they're going to love it. And I love that she's taking them down. So let us know how it goes. It's going to be fun. Let's see here. We have a question, or actually a comment from Bill in Delmar, New York. And he says, not to beat a dead horse with the cake bake shop prices, but my wife and I went this weekend and went out to a nice dinner at the restaurant that did the food for our wedding 13 years ago. We had 3 courses. My wife had a glass of wine, and the total bill, including the tip, came to about $200. I had a ginger ale with a refill, and I noticed the bill came, and I was charged for 2 sodas, and at $3 each, it still came to less than 1 Diet Coke at the cake bake shop. So everybody's still on the cake bake shop thing. So Bill, thank you. And yes, so there you go. We're still on the cake bake shop. I love it. But hey, you know what? The Lightning Lane Premier Pass kind of killed the cake bake shop discussion for a few minutes there last week. What do you guys think about that? Real quick about the Lightning Lane Premier Pass. We had this discussion Sunday night with our listeners, but I think we had a great caller from North Carolina and super rational. Like for the most part, for 99% of the people, 99.9% of the people that go to Walt Disney World, if Disney would not have announced this and kind of went to it as like a concierge email to the folks that are staying at Deluxe, and like if this would have, because what would happen is it would have got leaked to social media, like they just went ahead and just announced it because it would have got out there anyway. That's the right thing to do. But the thing is, like, I would have never noticed like who buys this because there's going to be so few people using this service. I'm not even going to know what's happening. But
the problem is not the problem, but the reason why it was announced is that there is a demand for this. I mean, absolutely, there were people asking for this, and will it be many of us? No, probably not. But the fact is, this may very well sell out on different days, and I can tell you, there are definitely people who are looking for this kind of service. From my perspective, I think it's a way of meeting that demand. And it's also something that most of us won't have to buy. Like, this is not something you have to buy. And from everything that I've heard, the numbers that this is going to be offered in, it's also not going to impact any of the other services that we have available. So I guess I expected the uproar, and yet I don't understand it. Like, there are also maxed out suites at Walt Disney World that are available for obscene amounts of money every night that you don't see the uproar about. Why? Because we know we don't have to stay in that suite. So anyways,
it's the same thing at Mizzou. I mean, I could go and there's suites at Mizzou, the Tiger Club, what I'm saying? I mean, dude, I could be eating like prime rib during the game, and I mean, all the beers I don't drink beer, but all the alcohol I'm down there with the people, man. I'm out there getting sunburned. And I mean, Pam got beer spilled on her. She was mad. I mean, because like there was a big play in the fourth quarter, dude. A big somebody spilled their beer two rows behind us, and it just trickled down. I was like, "That's a price you pay for a 4th and 6 where we converted." It was awesome, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, there's all levels of experience. We're down with the people, and that's where we belong. And it didn't affect me. I still got to see the same damn game that the people up in the Tiger Club got to see. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? As long as like I'm not waiting in line 30 more minutes because they're cutting me off, I'm good. And I don't think
there's not going to be offered in that. And by the way, there's already the VIP tours sell out more now than they ever did. There's many days that they just are not available, and we have guests who want to book them. Mm-hmm. So this is a way of also meeting that need as well, in many cases. So it's not going to impact our standing in line. It's just not that many people purchase them. So
yeah, I would tend to agree, actually. I view it more, like you said, as a VIP tour, that without a tour guide. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how I view this. Like, you get to do your own thing, but you get to choose where you go. I mean, not that you couldn't necessarily do it that way with the VIP tour, but like, it's just a little bit different. It's but to me, it's like a VIP tour. I think that part of it is a little bit of confusion on people's parts. Again, this is definitely not something I'll ever buying. But I think that there's a little bit of confusion because there are so many, they just rebranded Lightning Lane. And so people are already relearning Lightning Lane and how the whole process works. And then they throw on another additional Lightning Lane option. I think some people may have been confused about the fact that, well, it's this option, and then they're not doing like the cheaper, reasonable priced option, however you want to view that. But they're still doing that. And I think that this is obviously, in my opinion, this is available for a lot of people who would already have bought Lightning Lane. So I don't think it's going to make that big of an impact in that regard either. Like, I feel like, people who would have already bought Lightning Lane and they want to spend the money to make sure that they experience every single attraction will purchase this. And then the last thing that I had been thinking about this is that, a lot of people are, of course, their brain goes to the fact of, oh, it's going to add more people to the Lightning Lane, queue, and it's going to keep the lines for the standby queue longer. But I also don't think that's necessarily going to be true. I think that the bucket is coming from the people who would have bought Lightning Lane to begin with. So I think that the ratios aren't, like Pam said, I don't think they're really going to change much. I don't think they're going to, sell more Lightning Lane necessarily because of it. I think that the standby line is still going to be the same. So, I don't think it's going to have that big of an impact. And plus, Disney knows like what ratio gets people angry about standby line and Lightning Lane line. Like, we've all been in line when the standby line won't move, and had those complaints. But I don't think that's going to be the case in this situation either. So I think that people just maybe need to take a breath on this. Yes, it's exorbitant amount of money. Yes, it's not for everyone. Yes, it's not for me. But I can see the need for it, and I don't think it's going to impact the average guest that terribly much.
Just to put things in perspective, I will add one more time that the staterooms that sell out the fastest on Disney Cruise Line are the suites and the concierge.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever tried to get one, that is the case. It just is. So I understand that it may not be your pocketbook, but it also doesn't upset me that it's somebody else's pocketbook.
I get that.
They want to do it. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that.
As long as there's a yin and a yang to it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
That it doesn't affect, because I'm very, protective of the first time guests that can't afford that
or doesn't know it exists.
Exactly. That just wants to go and not even have to use Lightning Lanes. They just expect to stand in line. I mean, yeah, you are going to wait longer, but I don't want them to sit there and just watch, Mariah Carey and all her friends blow by for 90 minutes and not be able to get on Small World. That's not cool. But I don't think that's.
I mean, if I saw Mariah Carey there, I'd be like, oh my God.
No, I don't want to see Mariah Carey because you know what? I mean, because everybody should. I understand we live in a different world than Walt Disney had back in the 60s at Disneyland. I understand it's a whole different experience at this point, but it still needs to have some kind of equity. So it's not all exactly the same because we have different expectations at this point, but there has to be some fairness out there.
The longest line I ever was in was before they had Lightning Lane or Fast Pass. Right. I will say, honestly.
I get it. What I'm saying? But I mean, you got to, there has to be a balance there. And I think Disney's doing that. But I mean, and I don't think this is going to affect anything. I'm not saying this will, because Disney has to price this at a level that it can't be bought. If everybody bought this service, it wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? This has to be bought by a small percentage, because
exactly
if everybody buy it, it would screw everything up.
Yes, agreed with that 100%.
You're buying your way out of planning. You're buying your way out of just walking in and not having to plan anything. You just get to ride everything you want. It has to be exclusive.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
All right, back to the questions. Okay, yeah, my Apple Watch is like, dude, go to the next question. Give yourself a heart attack here. No, I'm not. I'm cool with it because it's not. It's like the world works. I mean, you go to the Cardinals game, you can sit in the owner suite. Tiger Club, every place has this. I mean, that's just how it is.
It's true, but the one thing, can I say one more thing? I just want to go. I just don't want to see people getting frustrated and choose not to go because they offer this option. And you've seen the folks out there saying, this is the last straw for me. And it just seems like a cut off your nose to spite your face kind of reaction to this. As someone who started a whole business because I wanted people to be able to experience the magic of Disney, it is still attainable and it is still out there, and you can do it without buying any of these add-ons if you don't want to.
I don't buy Lightning Lanes and I have a blast. I'm cheap and I still have a blast. You guys know it. I talk about it all the time. I mean, I've only bought one individual Lightning Lane. It was at one time at Radiator Springs.
Yes.
Because I was in a pinch and I was like, I got to do it before I get on my plane. I hate it, but I'm going to do it. So
yep.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's get to another question. It is from Jody out in Cincinnati, home of Skyline Chili. Either you like it or you don't. It depends on your choice with cinnamon. Your relationship with cinnamon. She says, hey, Mike, Pam, Scott, and Rikki. Tim and I are super excited to go back for the wine and dine this year. Oh, they announced today as we're recording the medals for Disneyland. Dude, the half marathon medal is Mickey and dressed like Indiana Jones. He's got a fedora on. Cutest medal ever. I love it. And there's like a girl from Star Wars, Ahsoka, I think she's one of the people.
Ahsoka,
and
Ahsoka.
little tree guy is one of them. Yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, she's super excited for wine and dine. We are among the crazy people who are attending Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party on Halloween night, pulling an all-nighter, then going to the 5K. You are sick people.
Oh my goodness.
They should mess with you and make the half marathon on Friday. Just get you and just do them reverse order. Do the half marathon on Friday. Is that a 3-day? I guess it is a 3-race weekend. So do them in reverse order. Saturday, make the 10K, Sunday, the 5, and just mess you guys. No, you guys are nuts. I'm telling you, I got whatever. Question about AP and park reservations. This is the AP and park reservation show. You never know what the inbox is going to bring you, people. If we are too exhausted to make it to our park reservation on Friday at Epcot, let's say we just want to head over to the studios to spend some time at Baseline in the afternoon. Can we do that without tapping into Epcot first? I wasn't sure what those rules were for annual pass holders. Also, park hopping at Walt Disney World is now open all day, correct? No more waiting until a certain hour. Thank you, Jody. Where are we at here? If you're too tired, too bad. You know what? My dad always said, self-abuse is no excuse. Those words when you after that 5K, self-abuse is no excuse. Okay, so what about do they have to tap into Epcot first with that reservation? They do, don't they?
They do, yeah. They do have
or they can cancel it. And then if it's after 2, then they can go. Like, yeah, because I've gone to the park and I still had a reservation from the morning, and they're like, "Oh, you have to go to Epcot," and I'm just like, "I'm just gonna cancel this," and then I can walk right in. So now the only difference is Magic Kingdom on the weekends. You do still have to have a reservation for that.
I forgot about that, man. That is a tricky one.
I know it's totally confusing and weird, but yeah, you still have to have your reservation, even to park hop at the Magic Kingdom. So you can't on the weekend. So you can't park hop either. So.
And park hopping is all day, right? It's not.
It's all day. It's from the second that they're open.
When people ask questions like that, I second guess everything. At Disneyland, it's still 11 o'clock.
Yeah, right? I know.
Yeah, I'm just getting all confused. Like, when people ask questions, I get so nervous.
Yeah.
Like, did something change on me? And I'm paid attention.
No.
I'm so worried. I'm like, I missed a press release today or something.
No, you're good. You're good.
It is, but I will say too, as the day goes on, typically even a park that was didn't have availability for typically will open up, so you can keep checking for that. You can modify the reservation. It's a very rare instance where it doesn't open up later in the day.
All right, let's get to the last question of the day. It's a quick one from Jessica. Hello, BOGP crew. The end of next month, I'll be headed to Disney for a Halloween on the High Seas cruise on the Wish, then a few days in the parks and doing the Halloween party on Halloween night. Say hello to Jody. Tell her I said self-abuse is no excuse if you see her at that party. The night before the cruise, I was able to get a Saratoga treehouse villa. Ooh. And then after a split stay at my 2 favorite resorts, the Riv and the Grand Floridian. Holy
there you go.
You're going on the Wish. You're staying in a treehouse. You're going to be at the Grand.
Can I come too? Can I stay with you?
I want to come. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm super excited to have 2 random questions for you guys. We usually run a stroller from Kingdom Strollers to get delivered to the resort. And when we check in, we were going to have it delivered to the Riviera the day we get off the ship and grab it to head to Animal Kingdom while we wait for our room to be ready. I'm not really a cruise expert and have only been on one a few years ago. What time do you think it would be safe to have it delivered to the Riviera? I think we answered this one, but let's answer it again. See if we get the same question answer. If we did, we'll have our car with us. Also, one last small question. Do they still decorate? We did answer this question for Christmas overnight after Halloween. Our last day is November 1st in the Magic Kingdom. I was hoping a little Christmas decorations before we left. Thanks so much. Jessica's also in New Jersey. So what time do you think we'd have it safe to be delivered at the Riviera? You got to be there if you're getting off the cruise. I would say noon.
I was thinking 11. So
I would say noon too, just to
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. Give yourself a couple minutes, but yeah, between 11 and 12.
11 and 12. Yep. And so there's always that myth that you know, they turn out the lights on Halloween and boom, you know, it's like the social media thing. Bam, there's snow on the ground on Main Street. Not quite. I mean, they put up the trees first in the parks, and then they kind of go from there, garland and stuff, and then the resorts get some stuff. Rikki, what would you have advice? Their last park day is November 1st in the Magic Kingdom. Will they see a little Christmas right this very minute?
I mean, they might, but I think that this year the holidays. Well, the good thing is the Halloween party doesn't extend to the 1st this year, so they have a shot at it. But I'm gonna say probably not, because the holidays technically don't start until the 8th this year, 8th or 9th, somewhere around there. So I'm gonna say that they probably won't get started really much until maybe that, because the 1st is a Friday. So I'm going to say either that Saturday or Sunday. More than likely the Sunday is probably when things will start really popping up, is the 3rd. So I don't know that they'll see Christmas.
But you're going to be in a treehouse.
That's right.
Yeah, you'll have a great time.
You'll be fine.
You know what?
Great,
they might actually start probably not though. Will they start construction on the gingerbread house at the Grand?
No. That's usually a little bit later. Yeah.
I was thinking, how long does it take to build a gingerbread cottage?
Yeah. They try to have the cottage up. No.
Yeah, it probably won't be November.
I try to I'm wondering if I think they might be moving it up earlier and earlier, but I don't know if it's that early. So
it's probably mid-November. It smell good though.
I would think that it would be mid-November, yeah.
But man, the Wish, the Riv, the tree houses are awesome.
It's a dream vacation.
By the way, don't put 87 people in a treehouse and serve punch and
we may or may not know this.
Live 365 and have Jay downstairs serving shows.
Exactly.
Awesome though. I'm still on probation, but it's all good. It runs out in 2027. I'm off probation for that, but it'll be awesome. Anyway, if you know, if you were there, and a lot of you were, because we had 87 people in a treehouse. It was cool. I mean, it was like Animal House, man. It was awesome. And we were live on Live 365. What year was that? Was that 2014, 2013?
No.
It might have been like 2010.
I think it was, yeah.
That was when we went to Walmart and bought a punch thing and everything, like a punch dish. It was like,
we did.
Or something. But we were live on the
100%. Yes.
Oh my God, that we had like a sheet cake.
Yes, we did. We bought a sheet cake.
Awesome. Those were the best days of my life. Anyway, you gotta get out of here, because we are going to have a show for you on Friday where we're playing hide and snack to get you ready for Halloween. The best places in the parks, because it's going to be getting crowded in the parks here over the next couple of months with the Thanksgiving crowds, the Christmas crowds, and then you got Marathon Weekend, you got Martin Luther King. Where can you hide out in the parks and just get just rest, there's so much overstimulation with sights and sounds. Where can you find a little respite, but also get a great snack in that theme park and just kind of recharge without going back to your resort? We're going to talk about that on Friday. And so come back and join us with that to kick off the weekend. All right. Don't forget our shows brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure. No additional cost to you. Check out all the details at this awesome website. It's got everything you need to start trip planning. A lot of great resources there as well. You might not know that. It's over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's one extra click, supports everything we do throughout the year. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our patrons. You guys are our all-stars. You make this show happen. I can't thank you enough. You can support us as well, just $5 a month, and you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come on over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give us a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. And of course, join us in the clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. That's where the conversation just goes on and on and on 24/7, 365. And we'll have the live show Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Give us a call. Let's talk Disney. We have a great time with Scotty G on Sunday nights. All right, we're going to be back again on Friday. It's going to be a fun show. Hope you're there with us. Subscribe on all the places and leave us a rating and a review. We'd really appreciate that as well. So for Pam and Rikki, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Episode 2577. All right. Jay's Schmoes. I saw that picture on Facebook.
So funny.
We all look so young back then. Holy smoke.
We look exactly the same. What are you talking about?
I take my hat off. Oh my God, that was so crazy. I don't know how that security guard just let people just keep coming and coming. I still know how we pulled that off. That was nuts.
Too funny.
Like, are you having a convention? All right, here we go.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2579 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. I sure am, but man, this is one of those weekends. I am 100% MIZ. You guys know that. You see the studio if you tune in live anytime. My studio it's painted old gold, which is Mizzou gold. It's our colors. You know that I only have, like, my wardrobe is either Run Disney or Mizzou stuff. That is all I wear. I mean, I work from home. This is like my dream. If you'd ask my 12-year-old self, like, what's your dream, Mike Rallman? It's to dress like a defensive coordinator for the University of Missouri. And by God, I get to do that. It's America, man. This is it. But this week, my Mizzou Tigers travel down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I think we have a shot. I say that and I'm just cursing myself, but I'm going to enjoy the heck out of Saturday at 2:30. on Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So hold all the calls. Do not text me. People will be texting me like crazy because when my two teams play, I'm always getting texts from all over the country. It's great. It's what football does with friends. But yes, it's going to be a fun weekend for me. Bama, Mizzou, may the best team win. But I'm MIZ all the way. I want to beat the Tide this time. People like, who are you rooting for? I'm rooting for Mizzou, people. Brady Cook, my guy was in the hospital for over half the game. They took him in a pickup truck during the game, through tailgates, got him an MRI in his uniform, came back on one leg from 14 points down, and we still beat Auburn. Sorry, Ian. I love Ian. She's on the Plan Disney panel, and she's out in Pittsburgh too, Pam. Sorry, but that's her school. All right. And it was God, I loved it. Oh, I'm still on a high. It's still 48 hours later. But anyway, we got to talk Disney. We're going to have fun. Hide and snack today. I love talking snacks, and I love hiding away from crowds a lot of times because sometimes they're after me. Rikki, she's from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com and the Mouse for Less. Rikki, what's up down in Atlanta? Happy Friday.
Well, you could introduce Pam first, but it's fine.
Scott.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. I'm sure that this weekend will involve some sort of fall festivities, Halloween, something. I don't know. We did 3 like fall festival trunk or treat. A little bit too much. By the end of the 3rd one, I was like, what did we do to ourselves? But we had a good time. So it was good. Lucy had fun. She is dressed as Mirabelle this year for Halloween because Encanto is like her favorite thing ever. So she absolutely adores Encanto thanks to Florence. So it's like my whenever we're having a meltdown, I just put on and she just zones in. So it is absolutely her favorite. So she is dressed as Mirabelle this year, and she's definitely getting the hang of like this trick-or-treating kind of stuff. We'll see how it goes next week when we actually like go out trick-or-treating. But at the trunk or treats and stuff like that, she's starting to get it a little bit. She's eating the candy, which makes me a little concerned. Like I started eating like a Kit Kat, and I'm like, look at you go! All right, cool.
Kit Kats are super underrated, top quality snacks.
It was good. I mean, it ended up all over her, chocolate just everywhere. Her face smelled like chocolate the rest of the night. Needed a bath, but
and that's nothing wrong with that. That's your job, man. Get the candy all over, cute pictures.
Exactly. So
play up the phone. Yes.
So I'm sure this weekend we'll have another trunk or treat kind of deal going on.
That's the thing. It's like when we were kids, you got one shot. Like you had like a 3-hour window for the entire year. Now kids get to have like 17 trunk or treats. But I heard a podcast the other day. I was listening to he said his kids, by the time Halloween came around, they didn't even want to go trick or treating because they
were done.
Trick or treats are like, Dad, I'll skip it. Like he's like, what? Skip it. This is like the Super Bowl. This is the night. All these trunk or treats were like the preseason. Like, what are you talking about? Get that costume on. We are going. They're like, it's cold. They're like, suck it up and put on another layer, kid. We're rolling. That guy's raising his kids right. But Pam Forrester, you had a 3-hour window, dude. If it was sleeting in Pittsburgh, we're rolling. Let's go. Put the coat on over the costume and just say boo to you. Pam Forrester, Coner, the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday. What's up? I'm fired up.
Happy Friday. Yeah, you had to go ahead and do it, regardless of weather. There was, and if your little face mask for your costume was poking you in the eye, and
you couldn't breathe. The moisture that built up in there, it was like a tropical rainforest inside your mask. It just ran down.
It really was. And you could have been in like your cousin's costume, right? From like whenever, like it's a hand-me-down costume from wherever. Like, yes, that became,
Oh,
so you just did it. You went and did it. You had to.
And the best costumes were like, you had that smock on, and like it didn't look like anything. It just had if you were Yoda, it just had like a picture of Yoda on it. Like you didn't look like Yoda. It was just like green with like a picture. I'm Yoda because it's got a picture of Yoda, and you got like a plastic thing over your face where you have no option to see. You cannot.
Natural fibers.
If you try to cross the street, you're gonna get smoked.
100%. Yes, and they were all some kind of flammable material, like nothing natural in the costumes. Used to create the costumes.
How we are alive to do a podcast at this age, it's a miracle. How we made it through Halloweens were so unsafe in the 80s, like miracle. And my parents, like I don't know if like I went with my parents like once I got to be like 8, like.
No, you just did it on your own. Your parents had their own stuff to do that night. Like they had to hand out candy.
Yeah, they stayed home and hand out candy because exactly the big plastic cauldron.
By the way, it was in the dark. The trick or treat was in the dark.
Well, no. Honest to God, we stayed safe. We got one little glow stick, and I mean, it might have been 2 inches tall, and like that was like, and it burned out like in 15 minutes. But I was out there for 3 hours. I mean, I came home and like I remember it was a Monday night the one year, and I was pretty young. Because Howard Cosell was still calling it. And like, I mean, it was in the fourth quarter. And back then the game started at like 8 Central. So I must have come home at like 10:30. I mean,
you went out so much later for sure back then in the day.
Oh my God. And I had so much candy. Like I had a big pillowcase full. It went everywhere.
I'll tell you, here it's the weirdest thing because in our neighborhood, it's seriously maybe an hour. And it's from maybe 6:30, 7 maybe till 7:38. Like it's done, which is so crazy to me because I remember you wouldn't go out until it got dark. You wouldn't, you go out for what felt like hours, and you'd go to every house in the entire neighborhood. It's so crazy to me how like little it is. Matter of fact, I have to try to convince Brian to come home early from work next week because he will miss Halloween if he does not come home early because he won't be home normally. So I'm gonna have to get him to leave work early next week for sure.
Can't have quitters, dude. If we have people stop like at 7. I'm like 7, dude.
It's not dark out.
Man, let's go. I get disappointed because we handed it out. I'm like, I need more people coming. I need some more costumes. Anyway, all right. So let's get into the topic. By the way, I threw this out on the clubhouse today, and winner chicken dinner was Craig, and he said, how about a show about places to kind of avoid the crowds within the theme parks, each park, and to get a good snack? And I thought that'd be a great one because it's almost Halloween. We can kind of call it hide and snack instead of hide and seek. And we have the crowds coming up. So we got, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and you got Marathon Weekend, Martin Luther King weekend. So we got some of these times where it's going to be busy, right? And maybe you don't want to go back to the theme park. You just kind of want to find a place within each of the 4 theme parks where we like to hang out. And I thought since it's Halloween, we'll say at night to make it a little spookier, a little ambiance. And so where would you like to hang out at night in kind of a secluded place? And what snack would you get anywhere in the park? It doesn't have to be a snack in that place. You can walk across the park, get the snack, sit down there and enjoy it. So we'll go there. So I'll let Rikki pick the park first, and then we'll go from there. So Rikki, what park are we going to first?
Okay, well, I got to start at the Magic Kingdom because I have my favorite spot that I tend to go to. And this is especially at night, so it's perfect. I tend to love going to Main Street USA, that little alcove, the art festival little street that's right there. I will go grab ice cream from the Main Street ice cream parlor, and then I will take it over to that little section right there. Sometimes I'll grab like a confectionery thing from the actual confectionery, or maybe a marshmallow wand, or Rice Krispie treat. But usually, if I'm doing this, it's got to be ice cream. I feel like there's just something really special about having ice cream back there. So you grab your ice cream, you sit back there. Hardly anybody comes back there. They all are walking down Main Street USA, and it's just peaceful. You have the world literally walking past you as you watch them, and they have no idea that you're there, and you're just sitting there enjoying a delightful ice cream treat, and watching the world go by. It's great.
That is good. I love this because we're giving all these good.
I know. Shh! Don't take mine if I come over there. You better get up.
All right, Pam Forrester.
Get out.
Pam Forrester.
So I am going over to Adventureland, and there is this sort of it used to be like more seating area, but it's back sort of removed from the main Adventureland to the right. After you go to the sunglass place, if you were to walk over to where Aladdin is, sometimes there's this area that's actually sort of behind a wall. It has these built-in seats that are built in their tile from when the park opened there. And it's really this really hidden area. You hardly see anyone ever back there. If you're looking straight at the Aladdin attraction, if it's in front of you, this is to your right there. So it's really this sort of hidden area. And I would grab something from, of course, where you get all the Dole Whip stuff right there. There's an item called the Tropical Serenade, which uses pog juice and coconut soft serve and has like a little cake pop in it. It was called something else for before, like the Cocoa Mora or whatever, that kind of thing. But now it's this, and it's really good. I mean, pog juice, coconut soft serve together. Yes. So you could go back there, and you can, and it is really just a really super secluded spot. And I love that there's still this little nostalgic part in Adventureland that's still available.
I thought you were going to steal mine because mine's in Adventureland too. So mine is right across from Sunshine Tree Terrace, the volcanic benches there.
Oh,
but it's,
nice.
There is like a spot. It's like, it's not on the main path there. It's way back, almost recessed by the Swiss Family Treehouse. And it's off the beaten path, but you can hear the junk. I love the background loops at night in Adventureland. That's why you can hear the drums, the doo, 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 you know, and it's some about it at night. I love it with all the lush trees kind of hanging over those seats. They're not the most comfortable, but like you still see people passing. You can even see the castle a little bit too, the treehouse behind you. And I would have gone over to Tomorrowland and just walked straight across the hub, and I would have brought with me a sweet cream cheese pretzel. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes.
God, those things are so good. If you've never had one of those from the lunching pad, and there are a couple other places you can get them around property, but they're so good because it's kind of a simple treat, but it's almost like a dessert because it's got a little sweetness to it, but it's a pretzel, and it's not like a terrible, like as far as like caloric. If you're looking for something like you don't want to feel terrible for having something, like you've had a terrible day, like you've eaten horribly, like it's kind of a decent snack. Like if you're trying not to be horrible. Because like a lot of times I've been on my third dessert by then, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have a fourth one, and I get that. I don't feel awful. It's a pretzel, but it's got cream cheese in the inside, so it probably is bad, but it's so good. Oh God, I love those things. They're tasty. God, but if I could be there tonight, just eating that thing with like a Coke Zero, oh, so good. All right, Pam Forrester, what park are we going to next?
So let's go to Animal Kingdom because there's lots of little hidden spaces here, but I really enjoy sort of that area behind the Tree of Life. There's some seating area there. You still do get to see the Tree of Life, but you see the back of the Tree of Life, which is sort of like the backside of the water, but not quite.
And it's gorgeous. It's such a beautiful area that no one really pays attention to, I feel like, for sure. Yeah.
It's really true. You're typically on your way to somewhere else when you're there. So really enjoy that. And where I would go is the Zuri Sweet Shop because they have these peanut butter haystacks.
They do.
And if you have not had them yet, you need to go try it because they're actually so good. They're not really offered at every candy shop. They're here consistently, and sometimes there are other places as well. But this is something to look for. It sort of is. Remember when you used to get those La Choy noodles, right? It's like that sort of, or even it could be like those potato sticks, the potato chip sticks. I think they use something like that to make it. But then they basically like melt peanut butter on them and they make this it's a really good dessert. And it's not too over the top sweet. It's just the right amount of sweet, but it's definitely worth doing. So that's where I would head for that.
That's good. I like that. Zuri's actually has a lot of really great snacks. They actually, we went in there the last trip and I brought some stuff home and they have just introduced Werther's there, which is great. But they also have introduced a number of new snacks that are kind of animal themed. So we picked up quite a few of those actually. So they have a number of fantastic new snacks at Zuri's Sweet Shop. So if you're looking for something really good, you definitely want to stop there for sure.
Yeah. Remember when they had the poop?
I do, yes.
That lasted a hot minute.
Oh, wait. Poor choice of word. Poor choice of words.
It was scat, remember?
Oh, no. That's
called
not okay.
Scat.
I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, the turds. How many times can we call something? All right, Rikki, what do you got besides poop, turds, and scat?
Poop, turds, yeah.
Explicit on this one, sorry.
Okay, so mine is going to be one that is not probably going to be around much longer, but it's over in Dinoland, and it's the little ice cream shop that's there. It's Dino. Oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on the name. Dino Bite. No, it's Dino Bites Snacks, or something like that, because there's Trilobites and then there's Dino Bites. So I knew they had very similar names. But this is the one that's kind of connected
Run by
to
J.J. Walker.
What?
You don't get that.
No.
You're too young. Go ahead.
Sorry. Anyway, this is the one that's kind of connected, I think, to Restaurantosaurus. And they have, again, really great ice cream snacks here. It's all about the ice cream for me. But they have the cookie with the ice cream sandwich, and it's the 2 giant cookies and the ice cream, in the middle, and then they smash it together, and it's just so yummy here. It's usually blazing hot because it's Animal Kingdom, so you definitely want a treat that's, ice cream for sure at Animal Kingdom, I feel like. And it's great because it gets a little busy sometimes, but a lot of times I find that not a lot of people come over here because, usually you're getting ice cream and, you're not like relaxing there, but I may or may not have relaxed there, a time or two. But it's a great little spot just to kind of kick back, unwind a little bit, sit and enjoy an ice cream, and just, again, you can sit so you can watch as the park, kind of walks past you, which is really kind of cool there too. So I really like that spot. Again, it won't be around much longer. It'll be around a little bit because it's not part of the first section that goes for Dinoland. So it'll be around a little bit. Actually, I'm pretty sure this year, I don't think you'll be able to sit there in the Christmas holidays because I think that's where Santa's meeting. Because I saw the concept art and I'm like, this looks awfully familiar. And then I said, oh, I think that's where I usually sit when I get my ice cream. So I think that this year that might be the space used for that. So meet Santa at my normal ice cream shop.
Dibs. Santa calls dibs.
Santa definitely calls dibs. I think he deserves
He
it.
gets priority.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now mine is savory for the animal kingdom, and some people use this for a meal, but it is a snack, and it's back at Yak and Yeti. It's the chicken fried rice.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It could be I could be influenced because my wife had Panda Express last night, and I'm thinking chicken fried rice, but that Yak and Yeti chicken fried rice is so good. And you can, have you ever eaten outside at the quick service, not the counter service? But if I could go into the counter service, Debbie used to talk about these back in the day, those green beans that were fried.
Oh yeah, that was inside the restaurant.
That's inside the table service. That's what we're doing today. But dang, those things were good. She always talked about those things. She was right. They had some kind of sauce you could dip them in. I mean, they're basically onion rings. They just
with green beans.
Exactly, with green beans, dude. Anything fried's good. Who cares? It could be a shoestring. But they were rocking. But I'm going to go with the chicken fried rice because it's like a little side order. But man, I don't know what they put that stuff in, but it is good. And you can just go right back. They have like a seating area there on that outside, and it goes back and around in the back.
It's pretty big.
Super secluded back there. If like you need to get away from the crowds, like you're overstimulated. It's a great place to escape.
I think we'd be remiss to, of course, mention Flame Tree. And grab some onion rings from Flame Tree as well as an option, and go to like as far back as you can by the water and just sit and relax by the water and just enjoy your time. I feel like that's another really great space that we have to mention because it's such a peaceful spot. If the birds aren't dive bombing you, but other than that, I feel like it's a really peaceful spot. And a lot of times you'll see they'll have a band performing on the water that they go around the loop, and so you'll get to see the band perform a little bit too, so you'll get some music in that area. It's a great spot too. I sat by that spot on a recent trip and it was very relaxing.
All right, well, I'm going to take us over to Epcot, and I'm going to get my snack. Man, there's so many choices at Epcot. Holy smokes, Epcot's made for snacking.
It is.
Do they still have the Bomb Kuchkin?
They do.
Oh, dude, I cannot go away from my Bomb Kuchkin. I'm totally butchering how you say it, but I don't care. It's so good. So I'm getting that, and I'm going to name it, and I'm going to cuddle it. And I'm going to take 7 different pictures of it for Instagram and make it a star before it goes into my belly. And then I'm going to carry it gently. Where am I going to take my Bomb Kuchkin before I eat it and enjoy it very carefully until all the crowds? I'll be carrying it like a running back through the hole. Where should I take it? I'm going to take it because it deserves a place of honor. Best place in Epcot to escape the crowds. I'm going to take it to Japan and enjoy it by the koi pond back there.
I knew that's where you're going.
Yes. I mean, is that not Zen? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited right now. Rikki, just take over.
I'm sorry. Okay, all right. I'm cheating again. I'm gonna go with 2. Because it depends on where I am in World Showcase. So I feel like this is a good or where I am in Epcot, whether it's World Showcase or Future World or whatever you want to call it. So I am gonna go if I'm in the front half of the park. I'm gonna go to Starbucks. I'm gonna grab a drink, which is. No, I'm not grabbing the back, which is where you can get one at Starbucks.
Yes.
But I'm just going to grab a drink and I'm going to go. Actually, they have so many nice tables that are under shade, or they have some nice benches around now that World Celebration area. And really, if you find one that's kind of in the shade, you can, again, people just walk right past you and, have no idea that you're there practically. They're literally walking past you, but it's so peaceful and so quiet. So that's one of my spots. But the other spot I'm going to go with is actually a spot, and I haven't sat here yet, but I thought about it on my last trip, and I said, I need to come just relax back here. And for this one, I'm going to go grab a funnel cake from the America Pavilion.
So good.
And I am actually going to take it to the Morocco Pavilion. and I'm going to enjoy that. They have this little section in the Morocco Pavilion where there's some tables, and it's under the covered, like, because they have the outdoor like
Bazaar.
market, bazaar over there,
Okay.
but it's covered pretty for the most part, so it's really shaded, and it's not usually impacted by the weather very often. And so I'm gonna grab my funnel cake, and I'm gonna sit back there and eat it there, because all too often you're looking for a spot to grab any kind of snack around World Showcase while you're traveling, and this is the perfect spot. I feel like it's, like I said, I noticed it last trip because they actually have, for the food and wine festival, they have and they had the annual pass holder lounge, but they have a lounge for, I think, Florida Blue right now that you can go into. You have to have a pass, but you can kind of go into it, and it's in the old restaurant Marrakesh. And so I went and checked it out. And as I walked past that area, I said, oh my gosh, this is just so peaceful and so lovely. And so I think that I'm going to throw that one in there as an option. And it's going to be my next option when I'm traveling around World Showcase for sure.
Was there a belly dancer?
No, they didn't have any. They didn't have any of the stuff that was part of Restaurant Marrakesh. So I've been there twice recently with the annual pass holder. It was really just a few snacks, and then you could meet a character. I got to meet Genie. And then with the Florida Blue Lounge that's there right now for the Food and Wine Festival, they have some healthy drinks. And then they also have it's a really cool craft that you can do. It's made with sand and mosaic tiles, and it's really neat. I made one myself, and it's you get to choose the mold that you use and everything like that. It takes about 15 minutes overall to do it, but it's a really cool little craft. It's actually sitting on my bookshelf over there, because I thought it was just a really neat little thing that they were doing. So, if you can find the Florida Blue pass online.
Is that an insurance company or something?
Yeah. So anybody can get one, and you just have to find it online. You just kind of search, and that's how I found it. And anybody can get it, and then you go in there and you can relax a little bit. It's air conditioned, which was lovely when I was there because it was so blazing hot still. And it's just really peaceful. But it's, again, only and if you want a pass for one of the concerts, if you go there early enough, they may have them still. So they have some passes because they are the sponsor of the Eat to the Beat concert series.
Cool. Good tips. Good. See, you pay attention to our show. You might find something.
You might learn something new.
Besides where to hide out from the crowds and get chicken fried rice. All right, Pam, what do you got at Epcot?
So I'm going to France, actually. And there is, on the way back to when you're going to do Remy's ride, there's actually a few tables over there toward the side, right before you go under sort of that sign for Paris, right? Or back in there. So that's where I'm going to sit because it's a nice place to go. And if I'm there, I have to go to the Les Halles, the lingerie, right? And there's so many great things to choose from, but I really they typically have a quiche that has goat cheese on it. I know goat cheese is sort of, some people either like it or don't like it, but that's a good one. If you don't like goat cheese, they have a ham and Gruyere quiche. They have croissants. They have sandwiches. They have all different kinds of things. Just so many good things to have there. They have macarons. But it really is sort of like this sort of authentic French experience in terms of being back, sitting in this little table at a cafe and just sort of enjoying something really yummy that they made that took a lot of attention to detail. So going there.
I like that a lot. That's a great spot.
I'm not big on that snack, I don't think, but I'd love to be in that area. I don't think
I'm big on the macarons, so I'll take that.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, totally. And I just go get some ice cream at La Haas. Yeah, just the.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, that's a great spot to get ice cream too.
Yeah, it is delightful. For a while they had a good pumpkin ice cream. I don't know if they have it right now. I'm sure they still do. It's the pumpkin season. Actually, they had a really good, for a time, they had a really good apple pie one, which was fantastic. I really like that one. I don't know if they have that right now.
Vanilla, chocolate, maybe a little cookies and cream. We don't gotta get fancy. All right,
we gotta get fancy.
America's the best. All right, let's go with. Sorry, I'm just kidding with all of our international listeners. We love you too. I'm just I'm a little patriotic today. Okay, so where are we at? How about the studios? I think that's where we're at.
That's it.
So Pam,
a little harder.
I mean, I know there's not a ton of great.
So
I have one, but go ahead, Pam.
I'm gonna go back, and if you go back by where Rock and Roller Coaster is, you can often find, if not like a little place to sit down, and there is some seating there. You can find like a ledge, there's a lot of landscaping ledges back there, lots of places to sit back there. And I'm going actually to Fairfax Fair.
Nice.
And this is maybe a little heavier than just a snack, but they have all these different bowls. They have like a buffalo chicken bowl and a brisket bowl and a pork belly bowl. Like, yeah, right? I mean,
into every one of these things, man. You're speaking my love language.
They all sound fantastic. And it's just a great place to sort of get away from the crowds. Like, really, things can get kind of busy, on those main drags there in Hollywood Studio. And this is really the only people that you have going back to Rock and Roller Coaster are when people are riding the ride or waiting for someone to be done with the ride. So there's often some space there, and it doesn't feel quite as crazy as the rest of everything does.
That's good.
That's a winner. Okay, I got mine real quick. So I'm going to get a Ronto wrap.
Of course. I expected nothing less of you.
But I wish it was the morning, because breakfast Ronto wraps a little bit better. A little bit better, but we're at night, so I can't get a breakfast one unless I have connections, which I don't. And the force is not with me. So I'm getting a Ronto wrap, and I'm going to take it over to Backlot Express.
Oh.
Because if you're looking to escape the crowds, that's a great place.
That is a good place, yeah.
There's a lot of outdoor seating. If the weather's nice, there's a huge outdoor seating area there, and you could totally escape the crowds and, just kind of hang out there for a little bit. There's great seating there. Not a whole lot of ambiance. There's not a lot going on over there.
No, there's definitely not.
I mean, you could look at the AT-AT, like stare longingly into the AT-ATs, guns, I mean, that could be something you could do, but not a whole lot happening. But it's a great place to kind of let your senses desense for a few minutes. But with a Ronto wrap. All right, Rikki, close this out. Make it better than what I just had.
That's okay. No. All right. If I can't, I'm gonna cheat here. It's fine. I'm pulling up Pam Forrester. If I can't have a baseline tap house, because that place is always crowded, delicious.
Yeah,
but always
you're not desensitizing there.
You're not desensitizing there. Yeah,
versions
for sure.
I like the music, but it's kind of desensitized.
Oh, the music is fantastic. Yeah. So I can't choose that, even though it's one of my favorite places to go. But I digress. So if I'm going to go to a place to kind of, desensitize and get away from the crowds in a way, there's two spots. One is really, honestly, it's in the middle of the park, basically. And everybody walks past it and nobody stops there. And so I'm grabbing some popcorn from one of the carts, and I'm going to where Starring Roles used to be.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
It's totally great.
Yes, it's sunk down. Nobody sees it.
It is. It's fantastic. It's such a great spot. And everybody walks past it. It used to be such a great restaurant, to grab a sandwich or, a little snack or whatever.
Roast ham, baby. That thing used to be so good.
So good. I miss it. I wish they'd bring it back. But for now, it's a great place for me to grab a popcorn and sit and eat. Or any other little snack that you want to grab. If you want to grab something from the Starbucks across the street, it's a great spot to bring that over. If you want to have some breakfast from over there, or a pastry or something from Starbucks. But another place that I have recently found, and again, if you find me walking over here, vamos, let's go. I want the spot, and that is actually over by it's over by Tower of Terror. And it's by the exit of Tower of Terror, and there's these arbors that are sitting over there, and they're so peaceful. You've got the music of the Tower of Terror going. There's not, I don't think benches per se, but there's definitely like ledges, and I've definitely sat on one of the ledges and just kind of hung out there. And usually what I do is I go and grab a coffee from Joffrey's, which is sitting right there. But Joffrey's has, and again, it's one of those like, sometimes they have it and sometimes they don't. So you can grab one of their giant pink donuts or whatever. But for me, what I like to grab over there is it's their Tower of Terror cookie. And like I said, they only have a limited quantity per day. They don't have them all the time, but it's like this cookies and cream cookie. It's got white chocolate chips in it, but it's purple. So it's not like a black and white cookie. It's like a purple and white cookie. But it's really cool. It's really delicious. It's really good. And it's a great little snack. So grab a coffee, grab one of these cookies and cream cookies if they have it, and just kind of hang out there while you're waiting for your family to ride Tower of Terror, because you don't ride it because you don't like to throw up. So
It's me. Yeah, I'd just rather just kind of have a cookie than toss mine.
exactly. I mean, hello. Duh.
I mean, like, eat a cookie or toss them. I'm eating them every time.
I would much rather eat it than toss it. Yeah, for sure.
That's a shirt right there in the store. Like, eat them or toss them. Your choice.
Took a turn I wasn't expecting, but okay.
What can I say?
Except you're welcome.
There you go, Disney. There's your next shirt right there in the store. You can charge $39.95 and sell a million of those suckers. Eat them or toss them. And have a piece of that cookie. Yes.
I love it.
Perfect.
That's good.
Thanks, Rikki. That's good.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
You're welcome.
Wow. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we are going to get out of here. We're trying to have fun here on a Friday and just give you some ideas for some snacks and places to escape the crowds as it gets busier and you're down there. Because you can still have a great time. But I mean, we all need to decompress for a few minutes. Maybe you got to check an email, or call somebody. Hopefully not. But, just nice to just because Walt Disney World for the best of us. I mean, they're always bombarding us with smells and sounds and sights, which is fun. But after 8 hours, sometimes you just need a little quiet. Just 10
Absolutely.
minutes. Absolutely. And kind of regroup. All right. Don't forget, our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you get to your favorite place, whether it's sailing on those awesome ships with the Disney Cruise Line. Nothing better than passing through those great ears in the port and then having your name announced as you go through the threshold of the ship. What's better than that? An onboard credit to have even more fun on that ship. And that's what we get you when you book with the Magic for Less. And you get little tips to get you ready for the cruise, saying, hey, how about these port adventures? Hey, how about these spa treatments that you can take advantage of? Hey, do you know about Palo or Eshante? I know I can't pronounce that right because I'm not so fancy, but it's spelled correctly in the tip and it gives you all the great information. You don't have to worry about my pronunciation. That's the great thing about booking with the Magic for Less. You get 100% correct information at the right time so that you have a great cruise. When you go to Walt Disney World, great tips there. Disneyland, you're set. You're going to have an amazing trip. It's going to be great. And the best part, no cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. One extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all these shows possible. Couldn't do it without you. You can support us just $5 a month. And for that, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you at patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give us a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. Rikki's at Rikki Nibs. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. Also, we'll have the live call-in show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 48 hours from now. Give us a call. We're talking Disney. Scott joins me. We have a great time. So we'll see you Sunday night. And in all the times in between, join us in the clubhouse. beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. No ads, no fuss. We just have a good time talking life and talking Disney over there. We'll see you there. All right. Time to get out of here. So for Rikki and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and
M-I-C! M-I-C! M-I-C!
M-I-Z.
I thought your welcome was coming, so not gonna lie.
I thought it only played once. It played 3 times. All right. That was fun.
Okie dokie.
All right, guys. See you next
All
week.
right.
Hey,
well,
y'all here next week.
Yep.
Okay.
I
All right.
should
I'll
be
see you guys
here.
later.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
All right.
All
See ya.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.